these cases were meant for lights, and they took them, they mixed up this kind of homemade plastic explosive here, very, very toxic, and packed these IEDs, these metal cases, full of this explosive, put a detonator charge in here, and all it needs now is an electrical current to set these off. You can see all these things. We're being told that in the area where the worst fighting is right now, that there are IEDs like this everywhere, that they are attached to light switches and attached to pressure plates and everything out there. They told us don't go anywhere that hasn't already been cleared, because these things are very, very dangerous. Obviously, this could easily kill a man. These are a different kind of IED that's on a stake here with an explosive charge here and the electrical wire like this. And these things are probably the biggest threat out there right now to the people who are trying to clear this area, and it will eventually be a threat to the civilians who try to move back into that area once ISIS is gone. Good morning, everybody. I want to just show you a little bit around what it's like out here in southern Syria. It's just after sunup, and we're camping inside I don't know, kind of a circle of dirt berms that was pushed up by bulldozers in the advance as they were pushing ISIS out of this area. There are just a few SDF troops sort of stationed here as a little outpost, and I'm not really supposed to show those guys, but you can see our camp back behind us. We've just kind of circled our vehicles, and they're starting to make breakfast now, and people are going for runs and doing their morning routine. I just want to walk over here and kind of show you what it looks like, because you might be able to see why some of these podcasts are just audio podcasts. It's just not really much to look at. However, let me tell you a little bit about what we did yesterday, just to give you a sense of just the kind of work that is being done out here. If you take the forward line of troops, the front line, the actual fighting that's happening against the remnants of ISIS in a place called Deir ez-Zor in southern Syria, there are still thousands of people that are stuck in those areas, and they are mostly ISIS supporters. They're the diehard ISIS fighters and their families, essentially. But many of them are realizing now that they're going to die if they stay in there. And when it really comes down to that, although they probably pledged that they would die, many of them are kind of deciding that might not be the best course of action. And so they are giving themselves up to the SDF troops, maybe partially because they realize that if they go to the other side of the river or are captured by Assad's forces, that it's going to go even worse for them. And so their only hope for staying alive is to give themselves up to the Syrian defense forces over here. So when they do, many times those diehards that are left behind still fighting get angry about that, or they don't like that, and so they light them up as they're trying to escape, and have killed and injured many people. So this truck arrived last night with a family that was fleeing ISIS, and they say that ISIS shot at their vehicle as they were trying to get away, and really shot the vehicle up badly. Several people in the family are injured, and right here under these blankets is an 18-year-old girl who arrived last night alive, but she just passed away. She just died, and her mother and her sisters are obviously very distraught right now. This is the kind of thing that we're seeing. ISIS is very vindictive against people who are trying to leave, and they're saying also that they're charging money. They're saying if you want to leave, you have to pay thousands of dollars to try to get out of here, and taking them for everything that they have left before they allow them to go. Whether or not they get shot at by their own people, many of them are already wounded because of the fighting over the last several weeks. And so they have to, once they give themselves up, they're checked for explosives and that sort of thing. And then they're sent, they say, just, walk that direction maybe a mile or so until you get to a collection point. And that's where we've been for the last several days, is at that collection point, picking these people up. They come in, they're in extremely bad shape. It's hard to even describe how bad it is for them. And they show up with whatever they can carry, and they really don't have much, just blankets and stuff. There are some men who were undoubtedly ISIS fighters in the past and are now just broken men. Really broken. And the women and children that are there, lots of women and children, mostly I would say pretty young, although it's kind of hard to tell because they are wearing nothing but they're wearing their burqas, absolutely completely covered from head to toe, wearing black gloves, black veils, everything. The children are dirty, disheveled, exhausted, dehydrated, sick, many of them injured. And so Dave Eubanks and his crew are treating these wounded, helping them however they can. It's just really a powerful, emotionally draining experience because there are people. Yesterday, we had a young lady who died. After we got there, she was badly injured and she passed away, 19-year-old girl. And then we were there with her family as they mourned, cried and wailed. Many of them were also wounded. There was maybe a 2-year-old boy who had been shot through the abdomen. His intestines were spilling out. We were trying to treat that, help that boy. There was another boy who came in who was gravely injured, just horribly injured in many places on his body, to include he had part of his skull missing and just shot through he had shrapnel wounds in his legs, his genitals, just in really bad shape. And we knew he had to get out of there very quickly. So we tried to coordinate with U.S. troops to get some help. They were not allowed to help. They're only allowed to help with any American forces who are hurt. And then we coordinated with the SDF. They finally allowed us to put them in one of our ambulances, several of the worst cases, and drive them an hour to the nearest clinic. So I'm driving in an ambulance with the Free Burma Rangers, who are here providing medical aid to the people coming out of the worst hit areas there, down on the front lines. And we've got an ambulance full of wounded. We have a little boy who was hit very badly by shrapnel. We have a woman who's, what is she, 24? 24-year-old woman who her husband was killed, her daughter was killed, and she is badly wounded as well. And then there's a baby with shrapnel wound to the stomach, and its intestines are kind of coming out. And so we're going to try to get these people to the hospital as soon as we can. And we have a FBR medic back there that's been treating them and keeping them alive this long. If it weren't for them, these people might already be dead. We might as well have not even bothered with that clinic, because when we got there, they didn't have any supplies or any doctors. And that place was absolutely like just a slaughterhouse. I mean, it was terrible. But they did have a ambulance, and they agreed to take these patients to the nearest hospital, which is another 2 hours from there. So if you think about that, there is absolutely no medical pipeline. There's no ambulance service. There's no life flight. There's nothing for civilians out here that's less than 3 or 4 hours away. And that's kind of hard to wrap your brain around, because these people are coming gravely injured, and there's just no way for them to get any medical care. And I saw some wounds yesterday that in the States would have been absolute priority stat, get these people into intensive care, and they were walking around with those wounds, having received them maybe 3 weeks ago and had no medical care whatsoever. It's kind of hard to fathom, to tell you the truth.